So you've got the dream job, you booked the gig, it's all steadily rolling in. So why do you feel stuck? Let's talk about the Golden Handcuffs. Hey dancers, I'm Kaylee and I'm the founder of Pivot for Dancers, and I help you find meaningful work off the stage. This channel is all about helping you pivot with purpose. So if you're trying to figure out what's maybe next after dance, hit subscribe. Today, we're talking about something that affects many dancers, but kind of quietly, the Golden Handcuffs, where a situation is good enough, but you tend to feel stuck, unable to leave. Let's get into it. So from the outside, it looks like you have it all. You're performing full time, you're hopefully paid decently well. Maybe if you're on tour, you're getting your travel paid for. If you're on a cruise ship, you have your housing paid for, which is a pretty good situation. But deep down, you know that this probably isn't going to work forever. Maybe you have other goals, other dreams, or simply your body is just sore. And the scariest part is, when you have the golden handcuffs, you don't really know how to walk away from something that's good enough for something better. But let's back it up a second and define what the golden handcuffs actually are. So it's originally a corporate term, which means good pay and good benefits keep people stuck in a dead-end job. But for dancers, this might look a little bit different. Maybe it's those cruise ship contracts that just keep coming. Maybe it's high-profile jobs in Broadway shows or the Moulin Rouge or for Cirque du Soleil. Maybe it's national tours where your room and board is paid for. Or it's a comfortable theme park contract where you don't really have to hustle anymore. It feels safe, predictable, and trust me, that's really hard to give up. Especially when everyone around you is saying, you're so lucky, you're living the dream. And you are. It's good, but how do you let go of good enough for something more? Which is exactly why it's so hard to leave when you're wearing the golden handcuffs. First of all, there's the fear of unknown. Nobody really likes stepping into the unknown. What if nothing better comes along? That's a fair fear to have. For dancers, there's also the loss of identity. Who am I if I'm not a dancer in this show? There might also be guilt. You have a steady thing going. Why would you give that up? Especially if you might be losing money or losing prestige. Plus, there's always external pressure from parents, friends, teachers, anybody who's looking at you and saying, what the heck, why would you leave? But the golden handcuffs are shiny for a reason. They're meant to distract you from the fact that you're not actually free. In a way, you're not making a free choice for yourself. So, how do we break free? Well, the first thing you can do is use this current stability as your launch pad. Instead of just jumping ship, use this stability to plan your pivot. Build a bit of a buffer in your savings account. Take online courses for things that you're interested in. For dancers, we usually have a lot of downtime even when we have a stable gig. There's breaks between shows, there's usually the whole day before a show. Use that time wisely. You might also want to start networking in other industries. Go hang out with other kinds of people. They might have a different perspective than if you're just hanging out with all your dance friends. Love them, but they're probably not going to understand why you would ever consider breaking out of the golden handcuffs. The next thing I would suggest is to try to get really honest with yourself. A lot of dancers were caught off guard when the pandemic happened because they didn't have anything sorted out. So ask yourself, if my contract ended tomorrow, what would I do? If that gives you a little shiver, maybe it should. So really, all I'm asking you to do is check in with yourself. Are you staying because it's really aligned with who you are and you really want to be doing this show? Or are you staying because it's safe? Then just start experimenting. I think freelancing is a great way to dabble in different fields where it's really low stakes. There are a lot of freelance websites where you can go in and just start interacting with clients. Even if you're making pennies, it doesn't really matter because you have your stable gig, right? Something else I often suggest to dancers is to reach out to family and friends. A lot of the time, you'll know someone who owns a business who maybe needs a content writer or a social media manager or a videographer. And these are all great ways to build up a portfolio in something else with, again, very low stakes. Plus, when you do this, you're not only gaining skills, but you're sort of testing out other identities so that hopefully when you do make the pivot, it's a little bit less of a shock to the system. There are so many dancers who have done this before you, myself included. So another thing I would recommend is to just reach out, try to find a mentor. I actually have a mentorship program with Pivot for Dancers. You can learn more at pivotfordancers.com, and I will leave a link in the description if you're interested. So here's the real truth. You can hold two things in your mind at the same time. On the one hand, you can be grateful for your dance career and this amazing, stable job that you love, right? But on the other hand, still want something more or something different. Both of those things can be true at the same time. For whatever reason, a lot of dancers have a hard time holding these two concepts in their brain at once. But I really urge you to do so, especially if you're feeling ready to move on. You don't owe anyone anything. You don't even owe your past self anything. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You can let go when you're ready. Don't wait until those golden handcuffs start to be a little bit less shiny. You'll want to pivot on your own terms. Start unlocking your next chapter now, while you still have the option. If this hits home, definitely give us a like and be sure to subscribe for more. We have way more real talk just like this coming at you soon. I'll see you guys in the next one.